about these people. Members of parliament, the citizenry, they're not talking about these people. So that's what brings us here, with the only Ugandans who think their voices need to be heard. So our pledge to you, sweeties, we want you to hold your government accountable. How? Sweden is a country which is a business partner to our country. They've been supporting our country for quite some time, and we really appreciate the partnership, the brotherhood of assisting us. SIDA is done and is still doing a great job in Uganda, but much needs to be done on the human rights front. Why is Sweden probably one of the leading countries in advocating for human rights, not putting pressure to General Museveni, who they sponsor yearly since he came to power in 1986. So we're going to be talking about these people, and I'm going to give you a colleague of mine, a confidant, someone who worked with Joseph. He's going to give you a brief background of when General Museveni came to power. By the way, General Museveni, prior to coming to Uganda or to power, he resided in Sweden. He was under the refugee status here for over 5 years. So one would wonder what it became of Museveni. One would think for someone who lived in Sweden for 5 years, he could do better on the human rights front. Unfortunately, probably didn't learn a lesson or two living in Sweden for 5 years. So one would wonder what did he teach General Museveni under his refugee status in Sweden. So I'm going to bring and introduce my dear friend Joseph to come and give you some background of how General Museveni came to power, what has been happening on the human rights front until today. So Joseph, are you ready?
Hej allihopa, ni är jättevälkomna till dagens demonstration. Jag ska berätta lite om Uganda. Uganda ligger i östra Afrika. Vi är 46 miljoner befolkningar och vi har en koloni av Storbritannien. Vi blev självständiga 1962. Det har hänt mycket, men idag vill vi prata mer om Museveni, diktatorn Museveni, som egentligen bodde i Sverige i ungefär 5 år. Vad man hade förväntat sig var att han skulle vara en förebild för demokrati, men istället han har blivit diktatorn. Han har blivit direkt motsatsen av våra förväntningar. Så idag vill vi prata mer om grova kränkning av mänskliga rättigheter. Och vi vill prata mer om bortförandet av 18 medborgare som har fått bort. Så ni är välkomna till denna protest mot diktatorn Musevenis regim. Vi har samlat här idag för att kräva att de 18 personer som bortfördes ska släppas fria. Syftet med denna protest är trefaldigt. För det första kräver vi att de 18 personer som saknar friges. Vi kräver att alla politiska fångar i Uganda friges. För det andra är vi här för att informera er mer om den bekymmersamma politiska situationen i Uganda. Detta för att mobilisera den allmänna opinionen bland det svenska folket så att de solidariserar sig med ugandiska folk. För det tredje kräver vi att den svenska regeringen omedelbart avbryter allt samarbete med Ugandas regim. Vi kräver att stoppa alla bistånd till Uganda idag. Sverige har genom åren gett ekonomiska bistånd utan att ställa några krav. Sverige fortsätter att stödja regimen genom utvecklingsprogram. Till exempel år 2022 gav SIDA-regimen 571 miljoner kronor och rättfärdigande för Sveriges fortsatta stöd till diktatorn. Vi fördömer fortsatt samarbete mellan Sverige och diktatorn. Vi uppmanar att regeringen omedelbart avbryter allt samarbete. Kamrater, kränkningar av mänskliga rättigheter bara fortsätter i Uganda. Även idag fortsätter av kränkningar. Vi vill uppmärksamma er på den oroväckande situationen och de mänskliga rättigheterna i Uganda som kännetecknas av allvarliga kränkningar, ett förakt för rättsstatsprincipen och alarmerande försämring av demokratiska värderingar. Ugandas medborgare har utsatts för grova kränkningar av de mänskliga rättigheterna sedan 1900 med grymheter som orsakats av stora förluster av liv och egendom, såsom massakrerna i Luero Triangle som skedde mellan 1981 och 1985. Där ungefär 300 000 människor har dödats. Vi har haft massakern i Kitwamba där studenter mördades, ungefär 80 studenter. Vi har haft massakrerna i Kayunga 2009 där ungefär 27 personer dödades. Vi har haft massakrerna i Kasese-palatset 2016 där 100 personer dödades. Men värst vi hade massakrerna i november 2020 där ungefär 200 personer dödades. Så efter 2021 intensifierades attacken av oppositionen med aggressiva bortförande, försvinnande, tortyr, olagliga frihetsberövande, våldtäkter och mord. I november 2020 dödades över 200 medborgare under protester, även om det officiella siffran fortfarande är bara 54. Är den svenska regeringen inte oroad över den avsaknaden av rättsstatsprincipen i Uganda? Ett blomstrande samhälle är beroende av denna grundläggande princip. Men i Uganda upplever ett betydande bortfall, vilket resulterar i dålig styrning, utbredd korruption, institutionella kollaps sosial oro, ojämlikhet, sociala orättvisor och erosion av demokrati. Vi uttrycker våra besvikelser över Sveriges orubbliga stöd för diktatorn i över 30 år utan att ställa honom till svars. Trots många brott mot de mänskliga rättigheterna, korruption och brist på efterlevnad av rättsstatsprincipen. Mot bakgrunden av denna oroande utveckling uppmanar vi Sveriges regering att ompröva och stoppa allt ekonomiskt bistånd till regimen. Avslutningsvis vill vi säga att det är avgörande att vi står enade i fördömandet av sådana handlingar och arbetar på att förnya ett globalt samhälle som upprätthåller principen om mänskliga rättigheter och demokratiska samhällsstyrning. Kamrater, om ni har några frågor är ni välkomna att ställa dem här. Det var bra. Så vi fortsätter att demonstrera mot grova mänskliga kränkningar i Uganda som har skett under 40 år. Vi har haft som en diktator som låtsas vara en demokrat men egentligen arresteras, torteras och dödas till och med. Så det är en allvarlig situation. Det är därför vi uppmanar Sverige att frysa alla ekonomiska bistånd till Uganda. Ni bör markera genom att avbryta omedelbart alla samarbete med den diktatorn i Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to speak to you in English. We are here today to demonstrate once again against gross human rights violations in Uganda that have been going on for the past 40 years. What is to point that the government has really over the 40 years that it has been without any conditions. And what this is wrong, and this is very, it has to be condemned, is one. Any continued support of the 70s, legitimizes and the whitewashing of the dictatorship that is taking place. What happens to 70 willfully abducts, he tortures and kills citizens, and this is going on for over 40 years, I'm saying. Sweden should actually be, Sweden should hold Museveni accountable. So we also hold the Swedish government accountable that they failed as signatories of international conventions, for example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Covenant on Social and Political Rights, which demands that they should do an audit, a rights audit before they can engage with Uganda. So secondly, what this does is that it merely prolongs the suffering and the oppression of Ugandans. And this is because Museveni gets away with murder. He does whatever he does, and no one holds him to account. And this creates problems. In fact, what this does, ladies and gentlemen, it just emboldens the dictator to think that he can do whatever he wants because no one is holding him accountable. And as I speak, people are still being abducted. We have Comrade Masaba, who is a blogger, was based in Kuwait, was recently abducted. We have Hussein Mombia, one of the activists, who was abducted and is incarcerated. We have Batoki, also known as Luchala Bossa, who was abducted, already has recently been released. So this is the environment that is very worrying, and it is very worrying, and we ought, we invite you to join us to demonstrate. And fourthly, ladies and gentlemen, failure to intervene and continued support of Museveni means that the dictator is just emboldened to go on doing what he's doing. This is very, very unfortunate. He's committing crimes against humanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, support us. The government of Sweden to immediately stop supporting Museveni. We call upon the EU representative to Uganda, Jan Sadik, who actually comes from Sweden. We are very disappointed that he is in cahoots with this regime. Yet he should be demanding. He should actually be demanding accountability. He should be demanding for respect for human rights. He should be demanding for rule of law. He should be demanding for equality and equity. But this is not happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation continues to be serious. Of course, we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters of Palestine. Yes, what is happening in Palestine is absolutely appalling, and we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters. If you have any questions, please come over and ask them. But we really want everybody on board. At least begin by doing some research to know what is exactly going on in Gaza. Thank you.
Hi guys. Hello. Hello. Uganda. Hello. Yeah, sorry. Guys, we're here to the demonstration advocating for the missing Ugandans, the abducted Ugandans. There are 18 of them. We're going to be talking about one at a time, and then we're going to be also going to highlight one powerful, courageous, an apologetic lady in Olivia Lotaya, who was abducted 2 months after giving birth. She happens to have 2 kids. The one she gave birth to prior to being abducted is almost 4 years since she was abducted. So you can figure out yourself what the families and the kids and this young lady go through. So I would like you to follow me here. We have our Roland. The number one person which everyone needs to know his whereabouts is John Bosco Chivalama. He's the number one person there. If you could highlight him, John Bosco Chivalama. He survived. I don't know if I have to use that word. He had 3 kids, at the time of being abducted. He was an accountant. Since the 2021 general elections, nothing has been heard of him. He was abducted actually prior to the general elections. He was picked up from his work and has never been seen today. So we still want to know his whereabouts as Ugandans in general. So we would also call upon the responsible international human rights organizations or friends to Ugandans to advocate on the missing persons, not only John Bosco Chibalama, but a few others which we're going to be going through. The next one is John Gamulira. At the age of abduction was 50 years. I guess right now it makes him 54 years. He was a mechanic. This guy was at his place of work and the security agent and the government picked him from his work. He's survived by a kid who you see there in the picture, a little one. Not happy about the situation. I don't think he's happy at this moment. So John Damunia has been missing since the 21st of December 2020. That was 1 year before the general elections. Yeah. So that's number 2. Number 3, we go to a gentleman called Godfrey Chisembo. Insect is a lady who is fending for the little one. Yeah. Now, surprisingly, not surprisingly, it's normal. This gentleman had 11 kids. So you can imagine, in absence of the father, what the family and the loved ones are going through. I wonder who's fending for the 11 kids. And mind you, in Uganda we don't have the state support, whereby the government in abducting him and charging him of whatever case would be taking care of the relatives of this gentleman. Number 4, we have Joseph Baguma. At the time of abduction, he was 30 years. Right now, it makes him probably 40. Yeah, he was picked up in December 2020. And it was a year before the general election. Yeah. And again, we have number 5, Hassan Mobiru. Hassan Mobiru was 38 years at the time of being picked. He was picked up in November on the 20th, 2020, a year before, a few months before the general elections. He survived, or he had 3 kids. His whereabouts are unknown. Moving on, we have number 6. Number 6 is Moses Babazi. At the time of abduction, he was 30 years. He was a businessman. He was abducted in December 2020, a few months prior to the 2021 general elections. He is survived by 1 kid. His whereabouts are unknown. Moving on, we have Peter Syria. He was 32 years at the time of being abducted. He was a plumber. He was abducted on the 1st of December 2020, a year before the general election. It is said he was abducted while coming from his place of work by armed forces personnel who pulled upon him and then soaked him in the drone. For those who don't know, the drone is not one of these electronic gadgets we fly here, or you fly here in Europe or in the West. A drone is a matatu or a object people in Uganda. So it's a very scary vehicle which is being used to abduct Ugandans. So moving on, number 8. Number 8 is Ssabasajja. He was 44 years at the time of abduction. He was a businessman. He was abducted on the 19th December 2020, a few months prior to the election. He survived by 5 kids. No one knows what is going on, and his whereabouts are unknown. Moving ahead, number 9. Number 9 is Vincent Nalumoso. He was 31 years at the time of abduction. He was abducted on the 1st of December. He survived by 3 kids. His whereabouts unknown. Yeah? His crime at the time of abduction was wearing a beret, something which I'm wearing myself. Yeah? The beret is a cap which I'm having on. So it's criminal or it's absolute suicide to have a beret in Uganda. So he was picked up wearing one of these berets or caps at the time of abduction. So we move on. We move on to the next person. The next person is Ssabasajja. He was 27 years at the time of being picked up. The dates were the 19th of November 2020. His whereabouts are unknown. Neighbor from his loved ones or any near friends. We move on to number 11. Number 11 is a youthful gentleman in Martin Agakagwawo. At the time of abduction, he was 35 years. His profession was a businessman, abducted on the 23rd November 2020, a few months or a month prior to the election. He's still missing, and we really advocate for his whereabouts. Moving on, number 12. Number 12 is Ssabasajja. He was 36 years by the time of abduction. He was a businessman abducted on the 18th December 2020, a month prior to the general election. Number 13. Number 13 is a youthful or middle-aged guy in Georgie Kesumber. 39 years, he was a businessman. He survived by 3 kids. And I'm saying survived because it's highly unlikely, but we hope that's not true, that we probably will have our comrades seen, unless the General 70 comes up and produces these people in person. But it's very unlikely. We're worried, like everyone, including their families, that their destiny may be threatened. Moving on, we have an elderly guy who was 48 years. His name is Muhammad Hanata. He survived. He had 14 kids. He was abducted on the 23rd of December. He was a businessman. No one knows who's fending for the 14 kids. He was the breadwinner, like all most African families. The man is the military or the breadwinner. So we still are calling upon for the international community to bring or put pressure to General Museveni to account for these people. His military generals abducted in Uganda, leading to the general elections in 2021 and post-election thereby. So this gentleman was picked up by 6 military men dressed in black uniform with one civilian man wearing a mask. So what that means, the civilian man was probably the one who kept them on the whereabouts of Kanata prior to being picked up on this fateful day in 2020. Then we go over to number 15. Yes. Number 15 is Similar Dennis. Similar Dennis, he was 30 years at the time of abduction. Was abducted on the 20th of December. Survived or had 3 kids, 2 kids. His whereabouts are still unknown after today. Number 16. Number 16 is Michael Semodo, who was a businessman. He was abducted on the 28th November 2021. During the election campaign, he said his opposition wanted him out of the way to show his military connections to have him abducted so he could have a free pass during the general elections which were going to take place in a few months from when he was abducted. Yep. Those are the people abducted. We are yet to go through the upper parcel. I think we've gone the 17th is Mustafa Luwemba. Mustafa Luwemba. They are insect. You have a little girl and a baby which is being babysat by probably the grandmom to the kids in the insect. The photo. So it was a young man, age 30, when at the time of picking up, and it was picked up in November 2020. Then lastly, the 18th abducted person is Shafiq Wangolo. At the time of being picked, he was 38 years. He's now over 40. And he survived by 2 daughters. Insect is a GRA, girlfriend or wife, pretty much traumatized about the whole OD. It's been 4 years since all these people were gone through were abducted, and there are no answers. Now, to our hero, someone who is been imprisoned for as long as after the general election. This is none other than Olivia Lutaya. She was 30 years at the time of abduction. She had just given back to a kid only 2 months when the military authorities of General Museveni picked her up. She has not been brought, or she's not got justice. No charges are being pinned to her. And if there's any evidence, no evidence has been presented as to what she committed at the time of being picked up 2 months after giving birth. she has 2 kids, and she's been sitting in prison for almost 4 years. So that's the government of General Museveni. Our international business partners are sponsoring. Yeah. Now to the recent case. This is very touching, but this is an ongoing case or practice in Uganda. You don't have to be political to be victim or to be abducted. You don't have to be in politics. You can't be abducted because you are a well-to-do person, you're wealthy, you have a lot of property. I guess General Museveni fears people with much property or are well-to-do. So we heard recently from sources back home that the gentleman you see here in the picture is a Muslim clergy who was abducted a month ago. Until recently, we got to know that this gentleman was abducted. No one knew his whereabouts. It is so embarrassing. This gentleman has gone through a lot of things. They've tried to make they've tried to imprison him and charge him with fictitious charges a number of times. At one point, he was accused of a rape on a niece he has been friending since she was 3 years. This is a daughter to his real brother, who left him the custody and has been raising this kid for 13 years. They started by charging him of attempted rape to his niece, and then later these charges were dropped because the doctors found out that the lady had actually not been raped. So that's what happened to this gentleman. But as if that is not enough, they came in for what do you call the second round. Yeah. The second round is like accusing him that he abducted this little one. He's been friending for 13 years, and from when she was 3, let's say 10 years. Yeah. So it is said he was called in the middle of the night by the residential RDC. The residential RDC is someone who is like a military leader in a specific geographical district in Uganda, who takes care of all military security operations within a specific municipality or local community. He called him, asking him to present himself at the police, and little did he know that he will not make it back home. So he was abducted at the police station and is in incarceration until now. There are no charges on this gentleman, but he's safe because he has a lot of property. He needs to part away with his property. Yeah. So that's one of the injustices. We could go on and on about the injustices in Uganda. So it doesn't end with the political persecution. You could be rich and you will end up in prison. That's the Uganda we live in. That's the Uganda we're fighting for. So for our business partners, friends, development partners dealing with General Museveni, put him on the spot. Ask him to audit these people. Where are they? And funny enough, in barely 1.5 years, we're going in a general election. If you ask me, would you go in an election where you have people still incarcerated from the last general election? I leave it up to you. I'm not a spokesperson for NUP, which I subscribe for, but I leave it to the public, to Ugandans and the international community. Should Uganda go to the general elections in 2026 when we're missing 18 people who were abducted in 2021, that's a discussion we need to have. That's something we shouldn't let pass. So, gentlemen, we're coming to the close of our demonstration. For those who have been listening, thank you for tuning in. We will not stop at anything. Every month we advocate and we demonstrate for the whereabouts of those, the past and the present victims to the impunity of General Museveni. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And my comrade, you want to say something? I guess we're about to close for today, but I want to caution every Ugandan. Let's stand up for our missing comrades. It is not right in this day and age that a person goes missing and there is no audit of his or her whereabouts. And there has to be justice. If you're arrested, you need to be presented in the course of law as the rules of law of any land or country prescribe. Absence of any evidence, I think it's fair enough to release the people in question, or the abducted, or the victims, at least the hand of the operation. So what are we saying, coming on to this demonstration? We demand the Swedish government, which supported General Museveni from the word go. At the time he was a refugee, or in Sweden, for 5 years before he took power, to stop funding General Museveni. All funds you sent to him, they legitimize his persecution of Ugandans. Those funds go in the wrong hands and for the wrong cause. Those are the funds which are used to abduct and compromise people. So General Museveni has his way. So until he puts preconditions on him, he will definitely continue as he has been doing, because you've given him a plain check. So try to copy or see what the United States has done. It's made some pretty tough it's just some tough guys.
Start taking it down. Yeah, because I think there's people who are going to demonstrate.
She's actually part of the demonstration. She has been to Uganda this station.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was very... Which demonstration? Palestine.
So let's try to take this and give them space.
Yes.
All we can do is to continue, not to give up. Yeah. Thanks for showing up. Yeah.